relatively easy one, and you will enjoy this chapter. Now, before getting into the contents of the chapter, I would like to give you an introduction regarding minerals and energy resources. We use different things in our daily life which are made from metal. You have studied that the Earth's crust is made up of different minerals embedded in the rocks, and various metals are extracted from these minerals after proper refinement. Now, minerals have become an indispensable part of our lives. Everything we use, from a tiny pin to a towering building or a big ship, all are made from minerals. The railway lines and the tarmac of the roads or implements, machinery, everything is made from minerals. Cars, buses, trains, aeroplanes, manufactured from minerals and run on power resources derived from the earth. Now, human beings have used minerals for their livelihood, decoration, festivities, religious, and ceremonial rites. You have learnt about rocks. Rocks are combinations of homogeneous substances called the minerals. Some rocks, for instance, limestone, consist of single mineral only. But what is a mineral? You have heard about the word mineral. Then, what is a mineral? How does this occur? Types of minerals, and the explanation for the types of minerals is what this chapter contains. So, let's begin. Today we are going to study what is a mineral, classification of minerals, mode of occurrence of minerals, rat hole mining, ferrous minerals. In that we are going to study iron ore and manganese, and major iron ore belts also. So shall we begin? What is a mineral? Geologists define mineral as a homogeneous, naturally occurring substance with a definable internal structure. This is what you have to write when you write it for 1 mark. Homogeneous, naturally occurring with the internal definable structure. Homogeneous means the same characteristics naturally occurring, might be in the crust, should have an definable internal structure. If you possess three qualities, you can define it as a mineral. Minerals are found in varied forms, from the hardest diamond to the softest talc. A particular mineral that will be formed from a certain combination of elements depends upon the physical and chemical conditions under which the material forms. Now, this is an example for a mineral you can see here, right? Classification of minerals. Now, we have different types of minerals: metallic minerals, non metallic minerals, energy minerals. We have classified them as under. Now let's go for metallic minerals, right? Non-metallic, energy. In metallic minerals, it is again classified into ferrous, non-ferrous, and precious. In non-metallic, there is no classification. In energy minerals, also no classification. Now we are going to study in ferrous, iron ore, and manganese. Non-ferrous, we are going to study bauxite, copper. Precious, we are not going to study anything. Non-metallic, we are going to study limestone, mica. Energy, we are going to study all. So these are prescribed for the CBSE for you in the exam. Now let's know where are these found, where are these minerals occurring, or the modes of occurrences. Minerals usually are found in ores. The term ore is used to describe an accumulation of any mineral mixed with other elements. The mineral content of the ore must be in sufficient concentration to make its extraction commercially viable. The type of formation or structure in which they are found determines the relative ease with which mineral ores may be mined. So this also determines the cost of extraction also. So it is important for us to know which type of formation is the mineral has occurred. So let's begin with the first one. This is the first one, minerals occurring in veins and lodes. In igneous and metamorphic rocks, minerals may occur in the cracks, crevices, faults, and joints. You can see here, right? The cracks, crevices you can see in the igneous or the metamorphic rocks. The smaller occurrences are called veins, like this. These lines you see are called veins, whereas you'll see a larger called lodes. In both of these, you will see the minerals. In both of these, we will see minerals. Now, for example, what we see here is in most cases they are formed when minerals in liquid, molten, and gaseous forms are forced upward through cavities towards the Earth's surface. They cool down, they solidify when they rise. Major metallic minerals like tin, copper, zinc, and lead. Tin, okay, I did not give example here. It is tin. Remember at least two: zinc, copper, and lead. Next one is beds and layers. Now, in sedimentary rocks, a number of minerals occur in beds or layers. They have been formed as a result of deposition, accumulation, and concentration in the horizontal strata. You can see here. This has been the result of a lot of years of deposition, accumulation, and concentration. Now, coal and some forms of iron ore have been concentrated as a result of long periods under great heat and pressure. So, coal and iron ore are the minerals supposed to be found in the beds and the layers. Third one is alluvial deposits. Certain minerals may occur as alluvial deposits in sands of valley floors and the base of hills. These deposits are called placer deposits, and generally they contain minerals which are not corroded by water. Gold, silver, tin, and platinum are most important among such minerals. Now, the picture that you see is from the rivers near Alaska, and I have heard that a river in India also produces alluvial deposits and gold. The name of the river itself is Gold. Can you comment here which is that river? The fourth one is the residual mass due to weathering. Another mode of formation involves the decomposition of surface rocks and the removal of soluble constituents, leaving a residual mass of weathered. Because of lot of weathering, wind, water, it corrodes, and whatever remains is called residual mass. Bauxite is formed as the residual mass. The last one you obviously know it, the ocean waters. The ocean is also a storehouse of minerals. The ocean waters contain vast quantities of minerals, but most of these are too widely diffused to be of economic significance. Common salt, magnesium, bromine are largely derived from ocean waters. You should remember anyone. Now, rat hole mining. What is rat hole mining? Mining done through a narrow tunnel is called rat hole mining. In most of the tribal areas, the Northeast India, minerals are owned by individuals or communities. In Meghalaya, there are large deposits of coal, iron ore, limestone, and dolomite found. So, coal mining is found in there, places like Jowai, Cherrapunji. It's done by family members in the form of a long, narrow tunnel known as rat hole mining. Remember, 2 years back, I'm afraid maybe 2 years back in Meghalaya, when our Prime Minister went to inaugurate the Dibrugarh bridge, there were people, there were children stuck in the narrow tunnel. Yeah, if you go inside it, that means you will get suffocated. Why do they do it? Because of the livelihood. Read more about this in the internet. You'll get a lot of articles from which the people have died. Now let's go to the differences between non-ferrous and ferrous. Today we are going to deal only the non-ferrous. Tomorrow we are going to deal the ferrous. Oh, sorry. Today we are going to deal the ferrous. Tomorrow the non-ferrous. Now these are basically the differences. Ferrous minerals have iron content. That's why it's called ferrous. Non-ferrous minerals do not have iron content. These minerals have little resistance to corrosion. Non-ferrous more resistance. Iron ore and manganese are the examples. Copper, lead, zinc, and gold and bauxite are the example for the non-ferrous. We'll go to the first non-ferrous. No, not non-ferrous. It is ferrous. I have taken non-ferrous picture. Ferrous minerals account for about three-fourths of the total value of the production of metallic minerals. They provide a strong base for the development of metallurgical industries. Among that, we will study about the iron ore. The iron ore is the first one. You can see a iron ore mine here. Iron ore is the basic mineral and the backbone of industrial development. India is rich in good quality iron ores. Magnetite is the finest iron ore with 70% of iron content. Hematite, there are the second most important industrial iron ore in terms of quantity used, but has a slightly lower iron content than magnetite. Remember these the iron ores so that an MCQ you might get these questions. Hematite and magnetite. The other include limonite and siderite. You can see here from where we get the iron ore, largely from Orissa, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand belt, and some from Karnataka too. So we will discuss that in detail. The major iron ore belts in India. There are four iron ore belts in India. We'll discuss one by one. The Orissa Jharkhand belt. We'll see Orissa Jharkhand belt here, right? Orissa Jharkhand belt. In Orissa, high grade hematite ore is found in Badam Pahar mines in Mayurbhanj and Kendujhar districts. Mayurbhanj, you can see here, Mayurbhanj, right. In the adjoining Singhbhum district of Jharkhand, you can see Singhbhum here. Hematite iron ore is mined in Gua and Nomundi. Maybe the name pronunciation might be different according to their regional dialect. The second one is the Durg Bastar Chandrapur belt, which lies in Chhattisgarh and Maharashtra. You can see the Durg, right? Durg Bastar also will be here. Chandrapur is probably here. The Durg Bastar Chandrapur belt, where you will find the famous Bailadila range. Bailadila in Chhattisgarh. Bailadila is obviously asked to be located in the map. Iron ore from these mines are exported to Japan and South Korea via the Vizag port. See, the Vizag port is very near. So it is done through the Vizag port. Now the third belt that you see is the Bellary, Chitradurga, Chikmagaluru, Tumkur belt. It's in Karnataka, which has large reserves of iron ore. The Kudremukh mines located in the western Ghats of Karnataka are a 100% export unit. So Kudremukh deposits are known to be one of the largest in the world. You can see here the Chikmagaluru, Kudremukh, Shivamogga, Hospet. That's what Bellary, Chitradurga, Chikmagaluru belt it is, and it is very easy to be exporting it with the NMPT or New Mangalore Port Trust Mangalore. You have a KIOCL facility also here to process the iron ore, right? The fourth one that we know now, some important things are like Kudre in Kannada means horse, that you might be knowing by now. Maharashtra Goa belt includes the state of Goa and Ratnagiri. See, you can see here the Goa Ratnagiri belt, right? It can be exported via Mumbai can be exported via Goa, Madgaon also. Now, to actually remember it, I have made a formula, kind of like a formula. You should be surprised how we can remember the major iron ore belt. If you want to remember the Orissa Jharkhand belt, you just remember the first words Oja, Oja belt. Here it is Duba Cha, Duba Cha belt. That is Durg Bastar and Chandrapur belt. If you come here, it's like B Chi Chi Tu, B Chi Chi Tu. Bichichitu belt, that is Bellary, Chitradurga, Chikmagalur, Tumkur belt. Here it is Magova, or you can remember as mango also. Now let's go from mango to manganese. Now manganese is also one of the ferrous minerals which is important. Manganese is mainly used in manufacturing of steel and ferromanganese alloy. Nearly 10 kg of manganese is required to manufacture 1 ton of steel. It is also used in bleaching powder, manufacturing of bleaching powder, insecticides, and paints. That's what the significance of manganese would be. Largely from Odisha. Odisha is the largest producer of manganese. Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka followed. Odisha is the largest producer. Now we will see about the distribution of iron ore, where it is distributed, and manganese. The places to be located are, you can see the iron ore mines, right? Bailadila, Chandrapur, see Durg, Mayurbhanj, Mayurbhanj, Kendujhar, Kudremukh. Not all the places which I mentioned would be there for exam. That I'll discuss later which are the places, but these are the places. Manganese, if you see, you'll see Shivamogga is one of the places. You see Nagpur, Balaghat mines for manganese. Balaghat mines is famous for manganese. Kendujar also manganese is found. So that's enough for today, guys. Tomorrow we are going to study about the non-ferrous minerals, non-metallic minerals, the energy resources also. So these are some of the questions. If you have time, please write it down and write the answers and show me when you are free. And that brings to the end of part 1 of minerals and energy resources in India. So coming up tomorrow, the non-ferrous minerals, metallic minerals, conservation of minerals, and hazards of mining. That's what we are going to deal tomorrow. Till then, it's goodbye from me and thank you.